Hello everybody, my name is Ariani and welcome to my beautiful channel. In this channel we talk about beauty, empowering ourselves, and deep topics and things that are interesting to me. So as you may know by the title of this video, today we will be talking about our ability to change. I believe that change is something that is achievable for all of us, and it is a gift. Now, what change am I talking about? Because there's so many changes that can happen in a person's life. But the change I am talking about today is the change and the ability to be in our power. Now, what is power? So, according to the Oxford Languages Dictionary, power is the ability to do something or act in a particular way, especially as a faculty or quality, right? So our ability to do something. So in this case, our ability to change and our ability to be in our power. So, I also believe that power is something that we are initiated to, right? And I say this because when we are children, we are usually not 100% in our power, because our ability is really limited to the people that are taking care of us, our parents, our caregivers, all these other people that were once in a position of power over us, in a position of authority, that control or limited our power when we were children. And if this is not something that's cultivated when we were children, and it's something that restricted when we come into adulthood, it can be very challenging for us to be in our power, because every single time when we were even teenagers or when we were, smaller children, adults kind of restricted us from being fully in our power. And sometimes rightfully so, because oftentimes when we are children, there's certain things that we might do that are really, really dangerous to us. But now being in our power in our adulthood is completely different. And I also, again, like I said, believe that is something that you are initiated to, especially if it's something that you want and desire. So being in a power, like the Oxford Languages has said, is being in a position to actually do something about it. And I believe when we are adults, we do have that ability. And with that being said, like one of the comics have said, I think it was the Spider-Man movie, where it says, with great power comes great responsibility. And that is absolutely true. When we finally come into understanding or a realization that we must step into our power, just know that there is great responsibility that comes with it. And before I move forward, I want to say that my intention, of course, is to remind you of your own power, but also to encourage you to use it in a way that is not selfish unless absolutely necessary, but more so in a position to, of course, empower others and for the betterment of humanity as a whole. I am definitely looking forward to, especially new positions and leaderships and people that are empowered to fall into these positions of leaderships and use it for, the good of all, if they represent a group of people. But for the purpose of this video, we're going to be focusing on personal power, and it's our ability to know within us that we have the capacity to actually do something, and in this case to change, and realize that we have personal power. Now, to move to move this topic a little bit further, I actually want to share a story and how this played out in my life recently, and how I've kind of been, it's something that has been growing and moving little by little over the years within me, is like realizing I need to be in my power. Like, not being in my power sometimes have put me in dangerous situations. Not being in my power, sometimes I've let people mistreat me, I've let people abuse me, and it is something that I've come to realize that is a necessity for me, and also to protect my loved ones, and to advocate for people that I love. And so recently I was put in a situation where a loved one said to me that somebody had harmed them in a way, and when the person that I love told me this, I immediately tensed up, and I immediately like want to like defend this person. But I started to ask more questions, and this person told me that about the person that hurted them, and I was honestly in shock. That was my first reaction. I was in shock because I could not believe this person would actually hurt my loved one. I still do have a lot of love and respect for this other person that actually hurted my loved one. And I had asked my loved one if they wanted to confront this person, that I would be there with them. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, I start preparing myself for the confrontation, but I also know that, again, I don't think the other person that hurted this person came from malicious intent. However, it still happened, and I knew that I wanted my loved one to feel empowered, to let them to actually address the situation and know that I was supportive of them. And so when we went to confront the other person, or just, I wouldn't say confrontation, or more like to bring forth what was happening, my loved one addressed the situation, and I was there. And the other person was like, no, that didn't necessarily happen, and it wasn't like that. And I was like, oh, like okay, like I was just open to what was really happening. And they go back and forth, and they both apologize to each other, and apparently it was a misunderstanding. And I say this story because the Ariani before wouldn't have the courage to go up to this person and actually address the situation, because I would have been scared, first of all, to make this person that I actually admire, that I actually respect and have admiration for, uncomfortable. And I know these type of conversations can make another person uncomfortable, but I knew that it had to be done, because my loved one is a person that can not necessarily speak up for themselves, and I know I'm in a position of adulthood that helps them be in power. And again, this was an opportunity not only for the little one, but not only for the other person, but for me to be in power and make the decision to actually go up to this person, clarify what was happening, and making sure that if this did happen, that it does not happen again. And yeah, that's how it recently played out for me. And I want to say that, the situation happened, and then I came home, and I realized that I was feeling so sad that this situation was happening. And I told my partner, I was like, I feel so sad. And I realized that I was grieving, you know. And the reason why I was grieving, it was because, of course, like, I couldn't believe that this could possibly happen. And second of all, that I was changing. And even though I thought that being in your power was going to feel like fireworks and magnificence, and that I was going to feel super joyful and happy, exercise and power, like how it happened in this situation, it wasn't necessarily like that. So not all the times you're going to feel like joyful or happy being in your power. Sometimes you are going to feel grief, and sometimes you are going to feel sad. And like something honestly that will help you move from this, like to actually wanting to be in your power, even though like sometimes it's not going to feel glorious and all of that, is to actually forgive yourself in the past for those times that you were not in your power and you did not know any better, or you didn't have the capacity to be in your power. For example, if you were a child and you were not in a position to actually do something. So and with that being said, I also want to mention that it's never too late to change. It's never too late to change, and that change sometimes is hard, but change happens with practice. That's my baby girl moving the camera. Hopefully she lets me finish this, but we're almost done. Okay. And I also want to mention that being in your power is also about getting educated, getting to know about yourself. For example, the thing that is allowing me to be in my power right now is to have a really regulated nervous system. And learning about the nervous system and learning about the fight or flight. So like, for example, you know, when this situation happened where I had to be the voice or just be present to to help another person just advocate for themselves, it required me not escalating. And even though, you know, at the moment I felt kind of anxious and angry and I'm like, oh my God, like, why is this happening? I also knew that when talking to this other person, going into a combative way or in a way in which the other person you know, in a way that was combative or that was problematic, was not necessarily going to help the person or help the person that I was trying to help. I knew that what was going to help the person was, well, let me try to sit here. I knew what was going to help the person was me being receptive, me coming in with an open heart and understanding. And the reason was, again, because this was also the person that we were adjusting to the situation with. It was a person that I necessarily didn't think was intentionally harmful. So I have to be clear on that. And one thing that I also have to mention is when you are in your power, you also have to know your impact and how you're going to impact other people. That is so important. Another thing is some people might be scared. Some people might be scared if you're in your power. And honestly, for me, I come from a situation where is either yes, I'm gonna be scared, or I'm not gonna be in my power and continue to let people abuse me and take advantage of me and just treat me like garbage. Like, absolutely not. Okay, and we're almost finished. I'm so happy about this. So again, I just want to say that, you know, sometimes being in your power, you're going to be sad, and that's completely okay. Sometimes being in your power means that you have to do it scared, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't be in your power. Doing something even when you're scared simply means that you're being courageous as well. Sometimes being in your power means that you're going to lose people. But the good thing about this is that you will not lose yourself. And yeah, like I mentioned in the beginning, being in your power is having the ability to have choice and to act upon something. And that's absolutely a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I think more people, I think we need to bring this more into a collective and have more people, have more of us like continue to practice being in our power. And I really hope that we move I really hope for you as well, and even for myself, that when we move in power, we do it from a compassionate way. And again, these topics are very nuanced and base-to-base situations. So again, if you liked it, if you loved this video, if you liked it, make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video so other people can find it. And let me know actually some of the things in which recently you have had to be in your power, and things that you did to actually be in your power in the comment video. And again, thank you so much all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.